Hello, my name is Callie. And today I want to share with you guys the adventure that changed my life. So have you ever felt inferior before? Because I used to be that kind of person who was always in lack of confidence. The reason why I felt inferior is because that I really care about others' comments, especially those comments about my appearances. Next, it was because that I didn't really know how to express my feelings to others and fought for my rights against others. Fortunately, there was a life turning point when I was a freshman in the high school. I decided to be an exchange student for a year in the US. After saying farewell to my parents, I stepped onto the plane and began my journey. A sense of excitement with a little nervousness made me wonder what would happen during this journey. Soon, the plane arrived at Atlanta. Stop for a moment. Maybe you guys might think this was the place where I was heading to, because everybody was looking forward to staying at a prosperous city. However, I was assigned to a small city in Kansas. I've even stayed in a friend's home for 2 weeks in the countryside, and there was literally nothing but cornfields and the most terrifying part. And the most terrifying part was that they had even seen hyena before. Filled with disappointment, I thought this was the worst trip ever. Surprisingly, a few days later, I was falling in love with this beautiful place. I had a lot of fun with my friends, and the most unforgettable part was that we were lying at the backyard, watching the sky, which was full of stars. And there's no exaggerate that I could barely open my eyes. Soon, the school started, and I had to return back to the city. As I said in the beginning, I was a shy person. It's kind of a challenge for me in a foreign place. My roommate, who comes from Norway, encouraged me that I should just try to smile and say hi to others. Then, a couple of weeks later, I found it became easier for me to communicate with others. Although there's still room for improvement, but I believe that trying to accept those challenges is better than avoiding them. Life begins to change as you are willing to. In the school, I tried my best to communicate with different kinds of people. After school, I hung out with my friends. Also, I get used to jogging every day, which was a big news, because I used to hate any kind of exercise. Life seemed to be on the track, but it wasn't the truth. My whole family was actually doing a bad job. As the times went by, we found out that the area representative was actually her friend, and it's impossible for me to change my host family. Rather than staying at that kind of family, my parents suggested me to go back to Taiwan first, and we could figure out what the next step would be. This wasn't the main point in the story. The point was that I was told that I couldn't leave the Los Angeles airport because I was reported by someone as runaway. My mind went blank because I was taken away by the police immediately while I was just reading a magazine at the corner, and there's no time for me to think. During the way to the office, I tried my best to explain to them that they might have made a mistake. At the same time, I texted my aunt for help, and she told me 2 things that I should remember. First, I should be brave, because I could only count on myself so far. Second, the US takes human rights seriously. As a result, just tell them what you want. Words that uttered from her really struck me. This was when I found out that I had never spoken for myself to an adult in Taiwan. Luckily, as I explained the whole situation to a bunch of police in the office, they finally understood and helped me to make a phone call, so I'm free to go. What a relief after I left the office. Besides, I also found that I do have the ability to solve any kind of problems. Through those experiences, it occurs to me that life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. As long as you try your best to solve it, every difficulty will become easier than you have imagined. Thank you.